you forever bloom. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I am pushing for this to have pretty much people that pop in that's interested in the research that I'm doing, or that watch this video back because it will be saved as a video on a profile on the channel, um, is interested in the research. Okay, so a while back, because I have this one particular deck, don't mind the fact that my child ripped it, but because I have this deck, the African Goddesses Rising deck, I became even more interested in Marie Laveau and her story. I didn't know it. I still don't know it completely. I know little smidgets, bits and pieces of it. And I watched this show called Fright Crew. Such a good show. Such a good show. It's available on Hulu and I believe also Peacock. Um, it's animated, but like it's really good. You should definitely watch it. If you like Cloak and Dagger, that's another good show too. If you like Cloak and Dagger, I feel like you will like that show. Um, Not to say that I'm interested in voodoo, but she's the well-known mother of voodoo in the Americas. Okay, in the Americas. To put emphasis, and if I'm wrong, please correct me. Okay, but I'm gonna show you guys her card in the African Goddesses Rising deck, because the card would pop out, right? But I was doing a little rigid on myself, and it came out again. I was like, you know what? Yeah, because I was doing a reading, and it came out, and I got a message. Oh, I'm gonna do a reader. I'm going to do a reading on this. Okay, cool. I'll put it in my pocket, save it for later. Now I'm doing the research. This might be a 1-2 combo. I might do the research and then go into a reading. So who knows? Because she obviously got something to say. Okay? Obviously she got something to say. And I may even be saying it wrong, but this is the Marie Laveau card. This is the card. And this is what she looked like. And this is what she did. This was her element. You know? Okay? Then number 7. Very spiritual number, by the way. Very spiritual number, by the way. Oh, it is a card of Marie Laveau from the African Goddesses Rising deck. Marie Laveau is who I'm doing research on. So if hi outlaw, if you were looking for a reading, that's not what I'm doing right now. I didn't even. Yeah, sorry. I need glasses. um, I'm doing research right now. So if this is not more your speed, I understand it. Um, this will probably just be a video. I'm literally just doing this live so it could be a video on the channel. So if you're gonna comment. I'm probably going to ignore the comments warning because I'm literally doing research. Don't say nothing about the Kindle. It is my child's. When his time is done, it's mine. But I'm using it for research purposes right now. I'm find the site that I'm using right now is, I know it's supposed to be botanical, but it's Britannic. I feel like a lot of these websites, that's like an official but unofficial website, are gonna have more information. I could be wrong, but so far, they go into pretty much, there's a dispute on her actual birth year. So it's reported that she was like, I literally just missed her birthday, September 10th, 1801. Excuse me. But there's like some documents that can indicate she was born in 1794. So with that, right? Okay. She was born of an African woman. If you want to know the actual names, I'm just going to say do the research yourself. I'm not going to say all the names. I am, excuse me, being led to say the names, excuse me, of her husband. Her husbands. I don't know if she has any more. But she gets her last name from her dad. Okay. She was married to a Creole man, um, pretty much from Haiti. Okay. Sorry. This this part may resonate. Okay, because I'm not gonna lie, I've I've dealt with a lot of Haitian men, and I'm like, oh, well, shoot, what she know that I don't know? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this may be why I'm led to dive into this. Okay, so take out resonates for you, right? Okay, and I'm just recapping what I pretty much scry movie titles, and for some reason Paris kept popping up. Paris, 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 Paris. Like, why is Paris so important? Well, the Haitian, her Creole husband, the Haitian man, name is Jacques Paris. This man reportedly disappeared and was later reported dead. Upon his disappearance, she was just pretty much saying, I'm a widow. It's like she knew he was dead. Now people might think, oh, well, she killed her husband. That, we don't know. We don't know. Okay? First of all, we don't know. And I don't think she would have. But that's just my opinion. Okay? Um, but she was going around calling herself the Widow Paris. Now, after her husband was reported deceased, she started a relationship with John Lewis. Um, a lot of names. Uh, Gallopin. I'm dyslexic again. I'm not gonna read all of that because I don't want to butcher his name. I will chop and screw some names, and I'm not gonna do that. Hey, in the chat, I'm doing research, so I'm not gonna be as responsive to the chat. If you want to be here, that's fine. But I'm mostly doing this live so it can become a video on the channel. Okay, and it is about Mary Laveau. Um, all right, so with this person she was dating, James, or sorry, Jean Lewis. She has several children with him. Um, and a lot of her children uh, dealt with the yellow fever outbreaks that plagued New Orleans due to the poor drainage system that they had at the time. Then it went into, you know, although she was a committed mother and wife, so I don't. It's like they didn't say that she married him, but I'm assuming she did. But although she was a committed mother and wife, much of her priority in caretaking was extended to her spiritual children in the general community. So she was a mother to a community of people outside of her family that she created. Now, I did click on yellow fever to get some insight on that. And when I did, yellow fever pretty much is an acute infectious disease, one of the great epidemic viruses of the tropical world. Though it sometimes has occurred in temperate zones as well, the disease caused by pretty much flax virus infects humans, all species of animals. I'm sorry, all species of monkeys, and certain other small mammals. The virus is transmitted from animals to humans and among humans by several species of mosquitoes. So literally, I stopped there because I shit you not. The other night, I stepped outside just to hit. You know what I'm saying? For a little, just a few puffs, and I was getting swarmed by mosquitoes. Before I even opened the door, mosquitoes was sitting on the screen door. Be careful out here because I feel like yellow fever is making a spin back. All right, we had Uvid. That is a they said a lot of things about Uvid, right? Because we're like, what is this? This is new to us. But there's nothing new under the sun. So that's something that was old, or something that was locked away, whatever it is, right? That resurfaced. But when it resurfaced and mutated. I think that yellow fever is going to resurface and mutate. It could very well do that. But with mosquitoes, they do experiments on mosquitoes. Excuse me. It's just something like, because of the fact that they're bloodsuckers. That's what makes mosquitoes such a big carrier of various diseases, including this yellow fever. So if you have children or small animals, because I know dogs can get, they can get worms or some type of infection by eating mosquitoes, or even cats. Like, when it gets a certain time, because we're in the raining season, make sure that they are inside by a certain time. I'm not playing. Or you yourself, including them, will get eaten alive by mosquitoes. Um, then also, don't have sitting water in areas that you normally, gravitate to. Don't have sitting water, or try not to be near lakes or water after certain times. Okay, I had to say that. because I feel like that's very important. Okay, yellow fever appears with the sudden onset of fever. So, right, fevers. So, like, if you have small children, you want to keep Motrin in some type of Tylenol in the house. So, if they do get sick or have fevers, just regularly, you know what I'm saying? Because if you have children teething and all of that, um, keep that on deck because you need both of those most of the time to break a fever. Okay, cool. Chills, headache, backache, nausea, and vomiting. The skin and eyes, may appear yellow, a condition known as jaundice. And I'm not gonna lie to you, when I had my child, for some odd reason, they shouldn't have done that shit. But for some odd reason, they had me next to the jaundice care. Like after the child is born, they they find out the child has jaundice. They they put this baby in a specific room. What was is it like a light treatment, a UV treatment? From what I can remember, this is from medical school, and they treat the jaundice while the baby is acclimating and having mommy and daddy time, right? Why did they put me next to that room? No one, well, I don't know if they knew I snore like a bear, because I actually didn't really get to sleep when I was in labor. I slept a little bit, but like I was snoring like a bear, and every time I was snoring, my baby would wake up, and then the baby in the jaundice care would wake up. And like for like 2 days, like a day and a half, they had me there, and then they finally gave me another room, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, this is much better. Anyway, um, for some reason that correlates jaundice. Um, and a sign that gives rise to the disease popular name, right? There's no specific treatment for those with yellow fever beyond good nursing and supportive care. However, yellow fever is an outstanding example of a completely preventative disease. People can be rendered immune to the virus through vaccination, and outbreaks can be contained by eliminating and controlling mosquito populations. Thanks to such measures, the Great Yellow Fever epidemics of the late 19th to early 20th centuries are no more, though the disease is still present in the tropical Africa and South Africa. I'm sorry, and tropical Africa and South America, where access to vaccine is sometimes lacking. It's not even. I feel like mosquito control. I feel like they might be doing something with that, or maybe there's just a lack of funding for it. Maybe it just wasn't in the budget, because I think that's a part of infrastructure. In my, let's look it up. How would I word that? Is mosquito population control a part of infrastructure? it would be, only because of the fact that they do it by state. Mhm. So I hope that that was something that was under the budget for a lot of states' infrastructure. If not, then you might see a little spike in yellow fever. So just be careful. Okay, now back on track. Laveau became a hairdresser to create economic stability for herself and her family through interaction with her black clients who were house servants. She was exposed to personal information about her wealthy white clients who often sought her counsel. So, what was that movie? There was a movie that came out, The Help. It's giving The Help a little bit. Um, Laveau used this information to give informed counsel to the people who sought advice from her concerning their personal affairs. Many wealthy and politically influential individuals, both white and black, paid Laveau for personal advice and intervention in some situation and protection against any evil energy that might have been placed against them. So she built the clientele, and she utilized her spiritual gifts to provide services to many wealthy and politically inclined persons. Okay, she wasn't only just doing their hair; she was doing their hair and feeding their souls, right? With good advice and uh, with good energy by warding off evil energy. Okay. This section talks about voodoo in New Orleans. Voodoo is a religious system, is derived from spiritual practices from these names: Dahomey. Da Dahomey. Like what? You know, this, is that how we say this? Uh, the historic Western African kingdom located in what is Benin. Okay. Voodoo is actually a foreign word that means spirit or deity. Voodoo was transported to United States during the transatlantic slave trade, right? So boom, let's back it up. Let's click on that word that I did not know how to pronounce. Hopefully I pronounced it right. So the homie, I'm just gonna say the homie for now because I'm dyslexic. Um, Kingdom is in West Africa and flourished in the 18th to 19th centuries in the region that is now southern Benin. According to tradition, at the beginning of the 17th century, three brothers fed for a kingdom of Aldina, over to like neighboring. Look, these names cool. No, I ain't finna butcher these names. Have grown rich in slave trade. Okay, so boom. Alright, here we go. Here we go. This is important. And I was on here. I'm not trying to butcher these names, but it's important, okay? You may have lineage, okay? Especially if you're watching this, if it's already became a video on the channel, if you're watching this, you may have lineage. Like if you clicked on it and you're interested, you may have lineage to the tribes or this area, or even to Miss Laveau herself in some way, shape, or form. Okay, cool. When one of the brothers won control, alright, so they were fighting for control of this Al Aldina or Dea Alda Al Aladay. I don't know. The other two fled. Okay, so boom, 1-1. There can only be one. 1-1. The other two fled. One went to west. Sorry, one went to southeast and founded Porto dash Novo on the coast east of another place. The other went north to found the kingdom of, and there's a map too, so I'm going to show the map. So all three of them, right? All three of the brothers. So you got the kingdom A name, the brothers that fled, one fled and formulated the kingdom with P name, and then the other one also went and funded a kingdom with another A name. So APA, to be significant, boom. But they all paid tribute to the powerful Yoruba kingdom. So Yoruba, and if you don't know, but Yoruba is where like a lot of the Orishas, how would I word that? They not formulated there, but like that's where a lot of that's where that ninja originate from. So if you're a Yoruban, or if you're Nigerian, because Yoruba is in Nigeria. Okay, cool. All right, ain't gonna say no more. But I think this is. Oh, so okay, cool. Oh, there we go. Can we zoom in? All right, that's about the best I can do. But this shows. Hold on. This shows the map, all the names. It is showing up a little blurry. Okay. Alright, I think I'm gonna stop there. It's the lineage factor that plays a part. Okay, boom. Now back to voodoo in New Orleans. African religions African religion was brought to New Orleans first by the international I'm sorry, by the intentional group of enslaved Africans from West Africa. Pretty much, if you're of West African descent, okay? After the revolution of pretty much Haiti, um, so it's like, so pretty much the West Africans that went on the slave trade that derived themselves in the Caribbean, because Haiti keeps coming up, right? Rightfully so. I know Jamaica, Puerto Rico, Cuba. What else is out there? There's definitely a whole bunch of other islands. Dominican, the Dominican Republic. What else? Yo, I feel like all of that area could participate in some form of voodoo, and it would be genetically acceptable. Not saying you have to, not saying that you should, but if you were to do it, if that was something that was called to you to do, you wouldn't get no whiplash. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like also this plays into look at your lineage before you start getting into things. Is that something that your ancestors did? Is that something that your ancestors practiced in? Even if you did not physically see or meet or talk with these ancestors, because they were born in a time frame that you wouldn't even fathom. You know what I'm saying? Still, be mindful. Was this in my lineage already? Because if it was in my lineage already, you know what I'm saying? Then I might have an inkling for it. I might actually be really good at it. I might actually be able to have success with it. Versus, I'm gonna do this because I'm interested in it. There's a difference. Yes, having an interest in something, in doing it, great. But you having a you having your genetic code, your DNA, or like from where you come from genetically already into it, and then you get into it, it's like a little extra boost. It's like a little extra oomph in it. You know what I'm saying? Put a little oomph in it. Put a little oomph in it. So just keep that in mind. If you don't have this type of lineage, you probably shouldn't be doing it. You know what I'm saying? You might just have to pay somebody to go ahead and get them services. Sometimes you're just led to pay somebody for a service, and that's it. Sometimes you're the one that has to do the service, so just use your discernment Either way, I'm not done because there's a lot of people that enslaved, or there's a lot of people that come from that lineage that enslaved those West Africans and sent them across with the type of treatment that they sent them across with the type of treatment that they did. And then they turn around and want to use, you know what I'm saying? It don't make sense. You know? It just don't make sense. It don't coagulate. It don't gel. It's a alchemically the am I thinking chemistry or biologically? I mean, it's a little bit of both. It just don't coagulate. Your experiment is going in your face because it's an experiment at that point. You know, it's no shade either because you may be mixed with it, but like discernment, discernment, please, discernment. Anyway, yeah, she wanted me to emphasize that. Another wave of African people brought their religion to New Orleans. The voodoo tradition was strengthened and reinforced by the free and enslaved African community of New Orleans. It is important to note that the practice of voodoo in New Orleans is not the purest manifestation of voodoo as it is known in the West African kingdom. Okay? Also, it is not the same religious system that is observed in Haiti. It's just a little different. Just a little different. Like, you always put your own little sprinkle, your own little twang on it. That type of thing. Okay, cool. So note, it is not the same. It is not the purest, and it's a little different than what it is in Haiti. So Sante Domingue, I think that's the actual name of Haiti, is isolated and religious and cultural practices were maintained and sustained. However, in New Orleans, voodooists had to adhere to strict European laws, codes, and oppression associated with enslavement. So, you know, they had restrictions. They had they had the popo on them. They had the popo on them. Okay. Um, Voodoo was often under scrutiny by public officials and in the law. Nevertheless, voodoo held a strong presence in New Orleans throughout the centuries, and voodoo ceremonies and activities took place at various sites around the city. Come here, come here, come here. Come here. Officials wanted to make sure that they had limitations on the voodoo practices. Voodoo practices took place in various sites around the city. I want that to click in your mind because do you know how easily voodoo could be done around your city in various sites? Boom, great example. That raid in New York with them officials. Then that raid on them people that was doing animal sacrifices. Okay, cool. Just so we know. Just so we know. Watch Cloak and Dagger. I think the various sites around the city and all of that. Vevez. Yep, Vevez. So when you see certain symbols or whatever, and you think, oh, let's look at this sand, and you know you mess it up. You don't know what you just messed up. You don't know whose ritual you just messed up. So just don't, 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 just don't, just don't. Okay, cool. Voodoo in New Orleans consisted of root work and gris or juju. People would seek out conjurers or other spiritualists for spiritual intervention and protection in their daily affairs. These favors range from those concerning love to political influence, although most workers used their powers for positive forces. There were some who did not. It was probably the work of this small percentage of people that was sensationalized by people outside of the religion. This aspect of the religion became known as hoodoo. Oh, okay. And is often the basis of misconceptions that public society has about voodoo. Okay, so the the dark percentage of voodoo workings that most people demonized is under hoodoo, not voodoo. Okay. Boom. Okay. The voodoo queen, said by some to be the granddaughter of a powerful priestess in Haiti. Laveau reportedly had a familial background in African spirituality. She was drawn to religion after the death of her mother. Um, Laveau underwent the where is that? Tutelage of Dr. John Bayou, sorry, a well-known Senegalese conjurer root worker. She did not take long to dominate the culture and society of voodoo in New Orleans as a queen of several descendants, no, decades. As a queen for several decades, Laveau was mother to many. Okay, so she gave mother energy, mother to energy, mother to many. People saw her advice for good God, maternal affairs, domestic disputes, judicial issues, childbearing, finances, health, and good luck. Laveau would, in turn, counsel her practitioners by supplying them with advice or with protective spiritual objects such as candles, powder, and an assortment of other items mixed together to create juju. As Queen Laveau predominantly orchestrated rituals at three main sites: her home on Santa Ana Street, Congo Square, in Lake ooh, Punta Charton. Look here, I'm gonna mess up some names. So, oh, I can't zoom in. That's the lake. If you want to look that up, I don't know if you can see that, but that's the lake. At her home on Santa Ana Street, Laveau would converse with clients who would meet with her regarding any issues they were having. In her background, she would also have ceremonies that conjured the spirit of the great zombie. Zombie. The deity, I'm not gonna say these names, but who would manifest through a snake. So, okay. The second major ritualistic space, Congo Square, was a public square that was set aside by city officials as a gathering space for both enslaved and free African people. Laveau would gather her followers there on Sundays to dance and worship. No major ceremonies would take place here, but it was a place of spiritual gathering and rejuvenation for Africans who experienced major oppression and hardships both on the plantation and as free citizens. The last place of significance that was preserved over by Laveau was Bayou St. James. Okay. Which was located on the shore. Okay. It was here that major ceremonies took place along the um, would often be accompanied by her king or second ranking male officiate. Singing, dancing, drumming, and spirit possession would occur in these gatherings. Curious white people would often sneak into the woods to witness the ceremonies. For sensationalism, they would often report extreme tales of what they witnessed. Okay, so this might be a part two. Could be almost an hour in. I might do a part two on this. So boom, the lake is where all of that real stuff was happening. The square, the Congo Square, is where they danced and rejoiced. And I feel like that was to just break the chains of oppression. Shackles off my feet so I can dance. Just wanna praise him. Just wanna praise him. That song came up. Like, dance like David did. Mm-hmm. They danced like David did. They sure did. Um, I feel like in her house is like more so where she would where she would like just do the regular smuggler, yeah, not outlandish, but when she was on that lake, that's where like spirit possession, dancing, drumming, and was with her king. So like the king was second in rank, male officiate. So the second ranking underneath her. So a practitioner that worked underneath her that was a male. Cool. Oh, we almost done. Oh, okay. We almost done. Hold on. Hold on, hold on, hold on. I am going to double back and read more about the lake, but let's just keep going. So, this isn't extra long. Rivals of Mary Laveau. There were often rivalries over who should rule the voodoo system in New Orleans. Before Laveau took reign, there were two women who preceded her as queen. The first was Sante Didi, I hope I said that right, who ruled for several years before she was um, unsupremed. I'm gonna say that on American Horror Story too. The Coven. I'm about to rewatch that. You hear me? I'm about to rewatch that because I feel like there's definitely a lot of gems in that, especially concerning who this is about. Cause look, if you in Terror Land, there's a whole lot of Coven energy going on. Like, you know? Mm. So another Mary, so I don't know how to say her last name. Who introduced Laveau to the mm, so intricacies of the religion and provided her with her fundamental knowledge. After taking a prominent stance as voodoo queen, Laveau reigned unchanged until 1850, when another Creole woman named Rosalie Rosalind attempted to challenge Laveau's position to create an aura of fear and awe. Rosalind placed a huge life-size wooden doll in her yard that was said to have been imported from Africa. The statue was covered with beads and intricate carvings. When people in the voodoo community began expressing fear and respect for Rosalind because of the doll, Laveau stole the statue. She said, bitch, it's just a statue. She stole the statue. She was taken to court by Rosalind, but used her persuasive powers and influence to have the doll permanently removed. There were several other root workers and voodooists who gathered and made attention during Laveau's reign. Oh, so she had people come for her spot all the time. All the time. hoes is always hating, pretty much. During the latter years, so this is going into survival of voodoo. During the latter years of her life, Laveau had to move her practices across the Mississippi River to the area of New Orleans known as Algiers. Algiers was the first point of arrival of enslaved African people in New Orleans and was the birthplace of voodoo in New Orleans. After Laveau's death in 1881, voodoo in New Orleans lost a great deal of its adherents as more people began uh, limiting economically and socially the need to depend on the ancient rites and traditions of the old time religion decreased. Voodoo began taking new forms, becoming incorporated into other religions. So, boom. After her death, voodoo ended up being incorporated into other religions. So pretty much they picked apart her teachings. They picked apart her teachings. They picked apart the practices. And it's not even the purest form. Because what it said the purest form came from the West African kingdoms. Just just saying. Laveau was buried in St. Louis Cemetery Number 1. Each year, thousands of visitors flock to her tomb to adorn her plot with spiritual rem- mhm, candles, money, flowers, and assorted personal items. So, boom. So, they have voodoo as a Haitian religion, but it's derived from West African. Yeah. Boom. So, uh, she must not agree with all of the ways that people have been using voodoo. Um, hence, like hoodoo, as it said, hoodoo was that small percentage of those that practice voodoo, but in a dark manner. So that goes back into your intentions, your discernment, all of those things are very important because not only does it change the outcome of whatever work you're doing, but it also disturbs spirits like Mary Laveau. Very powerful spirits. Alright, so that is that for that portion. I'm probably gonna come back and pull some cards. I was gonna do it tonight, but I'm not gonna do it tonight. But this concludes, you know, this concludes it. And that was just one website. Alright, so one website. But yeah, please look up them shows that I told you about: Cloak and Dagger, Fright Crew, American Horror Story, Coven. Is there any other shows that? I think that's about it. So it's just three shows. Um, yeah, man, that's it. I'm gonna end this live. If any of this resonated, like, talk in the comments. If you have any questions, my email's in the description. That's about it. Remember, we are forever blooming, and I love you guys. Peace.